The House of Representatives is declared officially in session for the 126th regular session of the legislature since statehood in 1845.
That's State House Speaker and Flagler County Representative Paul Renner kicking off the inaugural 2024 session of the state legislature in Tallahassee yesterday. The opening session was noteworthy here locally for the considerable presence of Palm Coast. Renner starts the session by inviting a Palm Coast pastor to deliver the opening prayer.
The prayer today will be given by Pastor Greg Peters from Parkview Baptist Church in Palm Coast at my invitation.
Lord, I humbly come before you on behalf of all of us, and I thank you for the privilege that you've given to us to live in this phenomenal country and to be a part of this incredible state.
Then the colors were presented by members of the Palm Coast Fire Department Honor Guard.
We're pleased to have with us Lieutenant Patrick Giuliano, Lieutenant Jeffrey Nunziato, Driver Engineer Brandon Davis, Driver Engineer Dylan Mulligan, and Firefighter Gunnar Pemberton. Post the colors.
Then Flagler Palm Coast High School 9th grader Kamani Gervin McCoy delivered a stirring rendition of the national anthem.
And the home of the brave.
You know that's good, but you should hear her sing Whitney Houston. Kamani, you're special.
Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Wednesday, January 10th.
I don't want to have to make a motion for a pause on building to get movement. That should not be necessary.
Palm Coast City Councilwoman Teresa Pontieri says something dramatic has to be done to address recent flooding issues plaguing neighborhoods. Meanwhile, Construction Management and Engineering Division Manager Carl Cody says his staff is working to investigate those complaints.
Cases have gone up. They were 125 last week. This week they're up to 148. We have been out to 75 of those cases at this point in time. We have reached out to all residents. There are 16 we are still waiting to hear back from to coordinate and schedule a visit to the property.
City Manager Denise Bevan says they're reworking the technical manual used for development.
We're accelerating that exercise of looking at our technical manual and the elevations and also how swales are directed in new homes and how that affects existing homes.
Bevan says the city's technical manual should be finished by next week. I'm Daryl Moody reporting.
This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. A community program teaching disaster and emergency response skills is about to begin in Flagler County.
We teach residents at no cost basic disaster preparedness skills, basic first aid skills, basic fire safety skills.
Flagler County Emergency Management Director Jonathan Lord. The Community Emergency Response Team Nationally Certified Program begins January 30th, and it's free.
What we cover in this 30-hour class is basic disaster skills, ways that neighbors can help each other while waiting for first responders in a big emergency or disaster. We cover how to organize neighborhood teams. We do basic first aid skills, talk about disaster psychology, talk about fire safety and utility controls to include actually practicing putting out a fire with a fire extinguisher.
Lord says registration is required for this 30-hour course that meets 9 a.m. to noon on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at the Emergency Operations Center through February 15th. It can be accessed by going to flaglercounty.gov/emergency and selecting volunteering and training from the menu. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
A man, a woman, and a computer store.
That's what brought Pierre Tristram and his new wife Cheryl together. He said he was working at a newspaper in Lakeland.
She was at a computer store right next to where the Lakeland Ledger had its offices, and I needed a computer cable. I went over there and I saw her and became more interested in her than the cable.
Tristram said he stalked Cheryl for a while, his words, not mine, and finally she accepted. Business Minds Coffee Chat with Jay Shear is on WNZF Saturday mornings at 11:30, and it's on the Flagler radio app anytime you want to listen. Tomorrow, a second father, still in media. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.